Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 17th of December 2018, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the FTSE. Now FTSE today, you can see the selling off a little bit, so certainly moving lower. Not drastically, of course, but nevertheless still on the bearish side more. So, and if we look at the 4-hour chart right now, you can see that it managed to break below this little short-term upside support line here. It's in a way tentative one, of course, but nevertheless something that we're keeping an eye on. It doesn't really mean that from now on it's going to just continue drifting lower. In order to kind of confirm a possible further decline here, at least for the short term, we would need to see a nice good break here below the 6,790 level approximately there, which was marked here by the lows of the 14th of December, or in other words, the lows of Friday. And only then we'll potentially look into something of a move of something like this, where we could then aim for the lows that we saw here around the 11th of December, 11th and the 10th of December. So around here, and that's approximately around the 6,720 level. I do understand it's only about 70 points away from this breaking point, but nevertheless, we should remain very cautious here, even with the downside. And I do understand that we are looking quite bearish for now. Looking at this overall picture here, that's why we're just going to be very careful with this one, because even though it could decline further down, but because it's quite overextended already to the downside, we could potentially maybe see a reversal back up here. But of course, this is just an idea, guys. For us to, let's say, consider further declines in the near term, we would need to see a good drop here below this little area here, and let me just quickly put that on the chart, and that's below these lows that we saw here around the 6,675 area, and that was approximately around the low of the 6th of December. So this is when we'll potentially consider a further decline here to the downside in the near term, and in a way this could confirm a forthcoming lower low. So, but for now, until we're here, that's why we're going to be very cautious. That's why we're going to be very careful with these lows, even though, yes, I mean, it is kind of currently declining, but again, a break below this, below the 6,790 level, could potentially lead towards a retest of this low, these lows here around the 10th and the 11th of December, and of course we'll just kind of take it from there if we get to this point, of course, because we'll have to reevaluate it and see how it wants to play out. If it does wants to continue pushing lower, that's good for the bears, but again, this area of support here around the 6,675 level, the lows of the 6th of December, in a way could be picked up by the bulls, and maybe we could see something like a double bottom here, but again, this is just an idea, so don't kind of stick to it, just kind of something for you guys to keep in mind. That's why we're going to be very cautious even with the downside, but if we get a break below this 6,675 level, then yep, further declines lower are possible. On the upside here, if this suddenly gets back above this short-term upside support line, keep your eyes on this little 6,850 level, which you can see that it acted as a nice area of resistance and support both, and a nice good pop above this could potentially lead towards a bit to the upside here, where we could then aim for the 6,915 level, or even actually going all the way here towards the retest of this upside support line, this short term, of course, upside support line taken from the lows of the 26th of October, and it could retest that line from underneath. So watch out for that one. But again, I'll repeat myself, for this scenario, we would need to see a nice good pop above the 6,850 level, and only then we can aim a bit to the upside. Okay, guys. Now, so another index that I wanted to quickly show you, and that's DAX. Certainly, looking at this right now, it's a similar picture with like what's happening with the FTSE. For this one, we're keeping a close eye on here from the very short-term perspective. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on the 10,735 level. Now, this was marked here by the low of Friday last week. So, yep, keep your eyes on that one. A nice good drop below this could drag this index towards the retest of this 10,605 level, approximately there. It was last time marked here on the 10th of December. And also going back into history here, probably for this one I need to put a daily chart. It will be better to see that one. So this level here, the 10,605 level, was also acting as a very nice area of resistance way back here in October and November time of 2016. Only in December it got broken here to the upside, which opened the path towards these higher levels here. So yep, quite an important level this is. Oh, I do apologize. I'm talking about slightly higher levels there. Oh, that's do apologize. My bad. This is this 10,605 level was the low of the November, this mid-November here, the 16th of November. So yep, I do apologize for that, guys. So the level that I was talking about here is the 10,825. Now this one level here, this is something that we could be watching here on the upside, because a nice good push above it could lead towards a retest of this key important area of resistance, which recently also in November time acted as a very good area of support. So that's the 11,000 level. So again, guys, so yeah, I do apologize for the little confusion here. So for the downside, where we're going to keep an eye on is keep a close eye on the 10,735 level. That's of course from the short-term perspective. If we get a break here below this, then yep, it increases the chances of touching the 10,605 level. But if it continues to hold and we see this one reversing back up here above the 10,825, yep, we could then aim for the 11,000 level itself. And if that doesn't hold the bulls down, then yep, we could see maybe a pop here, and this is where we will aim for much higher levels again. So, but for now, let's see how it plays out here. Jumping into Ethereum, now this is something I wanted to show you quickly, guys. And looking at this daily chart, of course, looking at overall, this is not a very good year for Ethereum, and of course the other cryptos, as you probably are aware. But there is some hope now today. We're seeing a bit of hope here, and looking at this 4-hour chart, probably it's easier to show it here. You can see that it's kind of trying to pop here to the upside. It already at one point here today managed to make a 10% gain, so it's currently kind of got held here by the R2, which was near the 90.30 level approximately there. So for us now, certainly we'll continue aiming a little bit higher here. This is sparking a bit of hope here for the bulls. This is where we could aim for. We could aim for the 96.50 level, and just to kind of show you guys, the 96.50 was the upper bound of this little range that we've got the Ethereum trading in lately, and that's of course between the 96.50 on the upside, and on the downside is the 81 level. So in a way, this is where we're going to keep on monitoring, and at the moment it seems like it wants to continue pushing further up here. We'll aim for the 96.50. If this gets broken, then yep, further acceleration of the price could be possible, and this is where we'll aim for higher levels like the 112 here, or even actually going all the way here towards the 125.75 area approximately there, which was marked here by the highs of the 28th of November. Jumping into EURNOK. Now this is something that you probably don't look at very often, but nevertheless quite important, quite an interesting pair, I would say. So continues to travel further up here, and today we're seeing this nice pop here above this key area of resistance near the 9.77 level. Last time it was tested here around the 20th of November, so now it's getting a nice pop here, and certainly even if we could see a bit of retracement here to the downside, as long as it remains above this 9.77 level, we will continue aiming further up here. Let me just adjust this chart a little bit. So we will continue aiming higher, and this is where we'll target the 9.8050 level, approximately there. And just to kind of show you what was that level, it was last tested here back in September time. So the highest point of September, the 9.8050 level was. So keep your eyes on that one. And if you look at overall here on the daily chart, oh, there we go. So if you look at overall here, in a way, this is quite a high point here that we got, this one, the 9.8050 level. But if that gets broken, we do have another potential area to watch out for here, potential area of resistance around the 9.87 level, approximately there, 9.87. Or should I maybe even actually round it up towards 9.88 level, so which was near the spike here, near the peak of the spike of the 9th of February. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. Good potential area for resistance, but only if we get a nice pop here above this high here, this September high near of the 9.8050 level, and then we'll aim for higher levels. If suddenly this reverses back down today, and let's say moves back below the this 9.77 level, certainly not all is lost for the bulls. We could see maybe a bit of a retracement here towards this short-term upside support line. But to be honest, if this gets broken and the pair travels below this little area of support near the 9.74 zone, something like that, 73.50 approximately there, let's probably keep it around here. If we get a nice drop below this, then yep, I mean, further declines could be possible, and this is where we could then potentially aim for this medium term, or should I say, yep, medium term upsides, or still a short-term upside support line taken from the low lows of the 17th of October, and we could in a way test that area here. But again, for such a scenario, we need to see, of course, initially a drop below this 9.77 level, and then eventually a nice good break below this very short-term, very tentative upside support line, or in other words, a drop below the 9.7350 area, approximately there. Let's jump into Aussie dollar. Now, Aussie dollar is a very tricky one, to be honest, lately. And looking at the daily chart here, now this is what I certainly we saw Friday selling off and kind of wiping all the gains that we managed to make during the whole week of last week. And today we're seeing a bit of a climb back. It's trying to climb back, of course. Overall, if we look at this, chart, you can see that what's interesting here is that this let me just get rid of this line. Let me draw a new one. So basically, if you take and draw a trend line here from the highs of, there we go, from the highs of January, and kind of drag it here, of course you can see that the pair managed to break this downside resistance line, and now it's currently trading above it. Certainly this is quite a bullish indication, but for those who are more on the cautious side, in a way you could wait until, let's say, this pushes back here up above the 0.7240 level, and then you could aim for much higher levels. So certainly that's from a longer term perspective, but from the very short term perspective, you can see that it's trying to push now higher, and it's trying to it's testing this pivot right now near the 0.7185 area. Let's see how that plays out. Certainly at the moment, looking at just this picture right now, certainly there is some potential for this one to drive further up here, but then again, we're still not far from these lows here, from the Friday's lows. And if this suddenly reverses and drops back below the 0.7150 level, this is where we'll aim for for much lower levels again, and the first potential area of support could be around the 0.7120 level. So keep your eyes on that one. For now, as you can see, this is trying to push higher. Let's see if it manages to do that today. If it does, then yep, we could potentially target this 0.7240 level that I was just talking about. And if we get a nice pump and a close on the daily candle above this level, then this could turn out to be quite interesting for the bulls. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDJPY. Now looking at this one, you can see it's kind of selling off nicely here today. So looking at the daily overall, you can see that it's stuck here, still stuck here between these two trend lines here below. It's stuck below this short-term downside resistance line here, downwards moving trend line taken from the high of the 3rd of October, and it's still above this medium-term upside support line taken from the 29th of May, the low of the 29th of May. So certainly looking at this, I mean, this could potentially travel a little bit further down here, but we'll continue remaining very cautious around this, because maybe it would fail again to break this line and then reverse back up, and we could then aim for a retest of this short-term downside resistance line. So for now, from the very short-term perspective, you can see that it's now breaking this 113.10 level approximately there, and now it's trying to push further down towards the S2. Let's see if it actually reaches that S2, and that's near the 112.95 approximately there. And if it continues to fall further down, and then yep, we could target this upside support line that I was just talking about, and yep, that could become a possibility for this pair to reach. But if this, let's say, reverses back up here and moves back above the 113.10 level, then yep, we'll still remain somewhat cautious on this one, because for us to get more comfortable, let's say, with higher levels, we probably need to see a nice good push above the 113.50 level, and then we'll target this key important area of resistance near the 113.70 level. But if that doesn't hold, this is where we will aim for a retest of this short-term downside resistance line. So, but for now, long story short, guys, it is looking more bearish than bullish. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening, and I really hope you found it useful. And if you want to join me tomorrow morning in my Traders Espresso, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time. So yep, but for now, I hope you have a fantastic day, a fantastic evening. For those who are still trading, I hope trading is going good for you today. Who have finished for today, have a nice evening. Bye bye.